everyone. Welcome back. IPL killing streak going the distance. Mono Esports versus Team Solo Mid. I'm Hat Person. With me is Dan. And you know what? I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm
It's a good
enjoying this a
series.
lot. It was a good series, but I can't help but think last match. I'm like, okay, so first off, 20-minute surrenders. It happens to the best of us, and yeah,
Yeah,
it
of
happens in
course.
pro play too. So it happens to everybody. Some days you're the feeder, some days you're fed. But we were all discussing out back in the office, kind of like why the Xerath pick.
Why the Xerath pick?
Yeah.
Well, I felt like TSM does have a lot of short-range champions.
Hmm.
Had it gotten to late game, if Xerath is able to locus a power up way in the back and just unleash his fury, it could have been really good for Mono. I think they were thinking just way too long term,
Hmm.
and that's a sacrifice you make. A lot of times, if you want to pick a stronger late game, you sacrifice your early game.
Yeah.
And so, especially, it's just those early ganks just really messed them up. It was nothing wrong with Xerath in terms of team fighting. It's just a lot of champions that you would pick mid against Maokai just gets killed like that
Yeah.
really easily. So what happened was, he got ganked with a twisted Vance early. Reggie flashed over and killed him. What happened is Maokai still has flash, so he's able to flash again. Now, he doesn't have his flash up, so he just gave up 2 kills like that.
Yeah.
So that pretty much snowballed the game. If you're looking at like the 20-minute item, Reggie had a couple of Doran's Ring, he had Death Cap, Sork Boots. You're looking at Xerath with 3 Doran's Rings and a Sork Boot. So the difference
yeah.
is a Rabadon's Death Cap, right?
That's a lot of money.
And when you're that far behind,
What are you gonna do?
sometimes that would call for a 20-minute surrender.
Yeah. I mean, I could see. I mean, I was thinking about myself, and I thought, maybe the Xerath pick was made possibly as a counter to Sivir in the late game.
Mhm.
But, in order for that to work, you need to get to the late game.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just doesn't happen. But you know what? We're 1-1. We're going to game 3 in just a moment. But as always, remember, we do have our Facebook contest going on right now. Hop on there. Facebook.com/IGN Pro League. We have our sweepstakes going on until Sunday. Win yourself $25 worth of RP, and as always, that's the email address to send us your amazing replays. But for now, heading into the Game 3 picks. So, I mean, sometimes when you go into these games where you see, someone's like bread and butter. In this case, we have Gragas. Sometimes it may be
I felt like
forcing a ban that you may not want to make, but I'm not sure if they're going to ban him.
I feel like they're just gonna. They had already banned Maokai. Like,
Yeah.
what's going through Mono's head is last game's problem was Maokai.
Yeah.
The reason why Gragas was so farmed was because of Maokai. So Maokai is actually, this is one of our top bans. I picked them up so we wouldn't have to ban them all the time, but we still ban them anyways. Maokai Rammus ganks are really strong, so it's just that Maokai definitely secured them that game, last game, because getting those 2 early kills on Gragas really helped him pull the head. Because if you think about it, right, those 2 kills convert basically to about almost 2 Doran's Ring, and getting those early Doran's Ring on Gragas allowed him to live a couple of times. If you're looking at his health, he barely got away a couple times with maybe like 100 health, maybe 150. So yeah.
So right now the bans are down: Maokai, Rammus, Sona, Udyr, Rise, Shen. TSM has not, they decided to not ban Ari this time around, and Nintendo taking a tip from their first game bans. Cassiopeia, Cassiopeia was banned game 1 by TSM, game 2 by Mono, but today, game 3 escaped it, so Mono's going to grab it real quick.
What happened game 1 was instead of banning Udyr, they banned Cassio.
Yep.
And right now for TSM, they feel like Udyr is a top priority ban, right? By the time it got down, it's like, oh, Shen's still up. Okay, so we have to ban Shen over
Yeah.
Cassiopeia. It's just the way the ban draft process works, you know. Had Mono banned Shen, TSM would be able to get Cassio, but Mono has first pick, so
Yeah.
clearly TSM has to ban Shen.
So then Karthus and Soraka being picked up, which is a wonderful combo to grab, because not only do you have the global damage, you also have the
I
global
wonder-
heal to deny
Uh-huh.
to denying Mono the ability to counteract the Karthus ult.
I wonder if TSM's gonna pick up York top. I'm feeling York top, but it's not guaranteed.
I don't know, what's giving you the feeling?
I don't know. It's just like we run this once in a while. It's just, you know, Karthus runs in, just suicide bombs him, walls, turns on E, you know, starts defiling, lay waste. You know, he almost dies. York ults him. Oh, I'm still alive. Runs back around on the ghost and starts snuking again. And then he dies and then he starts nuking again. You know, it's like 3 times the pain.
Yeah, or I mean, Zillion possible as well, maybe. They just have like
it's,
like,
not,
yeah.
it's not as effective because with Zillion ult, right?
Mm.
Rezzing Karthus, he's still a body and he's gonna die again. I feel like people can run away from Karthus when he dies.
There's York. There he is. So we're gonna have a suicide bomber Karthus on our hands.
Suicide bomber Karthus.
Oh no!
I had a little inkling. I was like, Karthus. All right, because basically what you don't want to do is you don't want to get gibbed by Cassio. What you can do is you can get gibbed by Cassio and reposition as Karthus and keep on nuking and die in the right place, right? If you're reanimated, you don't give a shit. Nobody's gonna focus you, and you just walk into the middle of their team and just start nuking. Because it feels like almost a waste to kill somebody that's gonna die again in 7 seconds guaranteed.
You can't argue with that mentality. It's like, you know what? I'm already dead. I'm already a skeleton. I'm gonna die once. I'm gonna die again. I'm a zombie skeleton. What's the point in living? Might as well just keep going.
I know. I'm already dead. I might as well just Rambo in again.
I am so interested to see how this works. Like I am a huge fan of just very like very team fight oriented comps, or just like we could even call this a gimmick comp too.
It was actually a flavor of the month comp about 2 months ago at tournaments. I think my team busted out and we did really well, and then people started banning York every single game. And the game that we lost was when they picked York instead of us, and we're really, really mad. So I think that was around the time of MLG. No, it was we pulled it out at MLG Providence, and we pulled it out at New Jersey IPL 3. So. And so it was banned, and then it was used against us, and we got really irritated.
So I'm guessing TSM has made a last pick that their last pick does not own, and we will find out what that is in just a moment. But Yorick on his own is, I mean, even without that, he's just a fantastic top laner. Period.
He beats a lot of people. I mean, it's really hard to deny a farm just because he has so much heal, and it's very standard to rush a lot of mana regen on him, and so that translates into more ghouls that heal you, and so you stay in there longer. And if you are getting zoned, you stand the back and you just nuke the creep waves with your AOE, and so I think he has 2 ranged nukes that can kill creep. So relatively, his cooldown should be up for every creep that dies. You know, not every, but most of them. So it's really, really hard to deny him.
All right, so actually, Mono had an error in their picking. So they meant to go Rumble Nocturne instead of a Lee Sin Nocturne on that last one. So they didn't have Rumble for that champion. So yeah, so they just grabbed Lee Sin instead of Rumble since they didn't have it. So we're gonna go Cassiopeia, Janna, Graves, Rumble, Nocturne for Mono. And we're just going to do the last pick in chat here just so we can get it to you guys. But, I mean, I'm like I said, though, so what do you think maybe last for TSM. They still have one spot open.
All right, so let me see. Cassiopeia, Janet Graves, Rumble, Nocturne versus Soraka. So it's basically gonna be an AD carry. It's like, all right, what AD carry is gonna excel against Graves, Janna, and Nocturne gank? You know, you want to be far enough back where Cassiopeia can't get you with her ult,
Mhm.
and Rumble can't ult on top of you. Like Rumble has a really, really long range ult, right? So I feel like it has to be a champion with a displacement or a really, really long range champion. You know, champions with displacement would be Corki,
Mm.
would be Ezreal. Long range champion would be Cog. So, you know, it's just, you want to pick the champion that's safest. Definitely, I think they've already done Sivir against Janet Graves. So Sivir should be able to farm just because she can like spell shield all the buckshot. So I don't know if he's gonna do Sivir. And Sivir can actually like outrun Nocturne too. After Nocturne ults on her, she can ult and just run away.
Mm.
So
You know, that also with her ult, you know, she can provide that speed. So we have Gangplank for the AoE slow. We
Uh-huh.
have Sivir for the team speed up.
that's a lot of speed up between GP and Sivir.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just basically what they feel is stronger against what the other team has on their plate. All right, because you keep in mind, all right, we're gonna lane against Graves Janna. Um, not only do we have to lane against them well, we have to be able to prevent Nocturne from ulting on us.
Mm-hmm. So we're just going to be remaking the room, making sure we get a last. We still do not know what the last pick for TSM is, but Mono has made their decision. So they're running Cassiopeia, Janna, Graves, Rumble, and Nocturne.
I think at this point it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're just gonna remake blind pick, right?
I believe so. So we should be getting back into that in just a moment. But so tell us, so a little bit more. So what kind of champs? I mean, so Karthus and York actually clearly mesh pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
What other champs out there for any aspiring Karthus players out there? Like, what teams does Karthus really fit well in with?
Karthus fit well in with poke comps for one, because you can lay down that wall, and
Mhm.
people really don't want to run through. I think you get shredded like 30 something or 40 something, like 35 or 40-ish MR
Mm.
armor if you walk through it, and you're really vulnerable. So people really, really hate that wall. It's a really big wall too. You can space people out and cut them off, and so I feel like he's good for his zoning, and he actually does a lot of damage. If you're running against a comp with a lot of squishy, basically, Karthus gets enough farm hits R, they drop to less than half hit point. And so he's good against a lot of melees, because he's got the spectrum of a lot of people, the champions with not a lot of hit point, and he's got the spectrum of people that are really, really melee intensive, which are usually like tanky champions too, because they have to close in on him, and then they sit on his defile and get lay wasted on. So, you know, he's actually, I feel like he's a really, really strong champion right now still. So
And there's also there's a lot of discussion too, where a lot of people feel that while Soraka, she pretty much her ult counteracts the Karthus ult,
mm-hmm.
but I feel that a lot of teams people just starting out feel they're obligated
Mm-hmm.
to take Soraka in the face of a Karthus.
I feel like Soraka is actually a decent pick against Karthus. Definitely her AP is not going to scale as much, so it's not going to heal as much as Karthus is going to dish out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in terms of countering Soraka, it counters like a percentage of Karthus. So, but also being a bottom lane, you're not too invested, and she's definitely like a good champion to help your bottom lane AFK farm. Like, in the long run, you're not going to be really pushed out of lane. You can keep on giving your champion mana, and they can just spam skills to farm, and then you can heal them when they get poked down. So, Soraka is generally like a really, really safe lane for me. And you couple Soraka Karthus, that means that when jungle ganks top, they got an extra nuke off to finish off people who are they ganking. And when top gets ganked, Soraka is going to give them an extra 200-300 health, so they can potentially get away too. So, it's just a lot of safety all around.
So we got. I was in chat just saying for some reason I got got booted out of the room. But in chat, TSM said that their last pick will be Tristana.
Oh, Tristana. You know, thinking about it too, like you can zombie Karthus or zombie Triss. Triss has got a lot of long range. She doesn't really have any on-hit effect, but just imagine like 2 Tristana with a lot of damage and attack speed. Just she doesn't get the steroid from Q2 on the clone though. I'm thinking they're gonna ult the Karthus over Triss, but if they have to, they would ult the Triss. Yeah.
I think so too. So I mean, and Tristana Soraka, that's wonderful. That's a wonderful combo bot lane anyway. Because I mean, Tristana's going to be in order to get most of her engagements off, she does have to get in there with the rocket jump.
Like ironically, like the criteria I was thinking of when I was talking about what's good against their comp, I said long range and needs a displacement, right? And I didn't name Tristana, right? She's got both of them. She's got the longest non-skill range in the game, and she's got a jump for displacement. I'm surprised I didn't mention it.
Well, it's again. I'm excited to see this happen, and she's absolutely the perfect pick for this match. So here we are, blind pick. We're just gonna get this going for you real quick. So just to recap the bans for Game 3, Mono versus TSM. Mono banned out Maokai, Rammus, and Sona. Solo mid banned out Udyr, Ryze, and Shen. Trying to get as many good champs and team-specific champs out as they need to. So we are 1-1 in this series. If Team Solo Mid wins this game, they will be on a killing spree and start getting those increased prize pots. And if they win tonight, they'll be winning $400 instead of the usual $300. And we are still going into our last match. So tweet at us who you think is going to win at IGN Pro League, and we will pick one of you. We're going to send you a nice Razer mousepad and an IPL hoodie for your troubles. So we will be going in just for real quick here. And then also, as always, we do have our Facebook contest going on until Sunday. Facebook.com/IGN Pro League. You can win yourself $25 worth of RP from the contest there. And if you're liking what you see tonight, remember, we have our round of 8. We have our qualifiers for IPL 4 Saturday. Round of 8 starting at 9 a.m. Pacific. And then we will be going on to round of 4 and grand finals this Sunday. Also starting at 9 a.m. Pacific. We're going to find out already on Saturday. Whoever wins on Saturday in each 4 of those matches, we're going to find out who goes to IPL 4 from there. So we're going to start out with CLG EU versus Against All Authority, M5 versus Mono Esports, TCM versus Curse, and V8 versus EZ. So this weekend is going to be amazing too if you are a fan of League of Legends. So we shall be going into commercial momentarily, and hey, stick around. We have a fantastic Game 3 for you at home. Mono Esports versus Team Solo Mid. I'm Hat Person. I'm here with Dan Din. It's going to be a fun time, so stick around. Welcome back, everyone. IPL killing spree. Mono Esports versus Team Solo Mid. We are going to game number 3. Going the distance here, and I was noticing during loading screen, look at Chaos, Ignite Heal.
Ignite heal.
Explain this. I'm kind of befuddled here.
All right, the whole concept behind Ignite heal for Tristana is okay. She knows that Karthus is gonna have his ult at level 6, especially when he hits level 6. And at level 6, if Triss puts point into explosive shot and rocket jump only, her burst potential without the ignite should be, you calculate in the rocket jump, say like 180 damage. Maybe if she puts 3 points into it, closer to like 200. Explosive shot, maybe like another 150. So that's like 350. You throw in the ultimate, right? This is before resistance, so
yep.
That's gonna put her close to like 600 damage. She can probably get 1 or 2 right click off, and so you throw an ignite too at level 6. I think it's 75 plus 20 times 6, so maybe close to 200 damage. So now Triss got about maybe 800 damage potential before resist. closer to like 700 because ignites true damage. You throw in Karthus ult, that's another about 200 damage. So at any point, if bottom lane is below 800 damage, you know, because the Janna shield's gonna block some, Triss is gonna be able to burst him down with GP ult, with Karthus ult, and with ignite. So it's just this is basically This is called the feed the bottom lane game, and Chaux is gonna get really farm and carry really hard if he plays it right.
Wow, I'm learning so much about Tristana today. I'm learning so much just from watching solo mid, picking champs. We're seeing their strategy unfold, and we'll see it just unfold further once everyone starts hitting 6, once the team fights start breaking out. I'm excited. I'm also what does Mono have to do to counteract this?
Basically, like Mono's got one of those comps again where if TSM clumps up, they're gonna die. Tristana, once she gets to 18, she's gonna have 700 plus range. So in terms of landing on Triss is gonna be pretty hard, especially if Rumble lands it on her anyways. She can jump. After which Nocturne can potentially ult onto Triss, because that would guarantee a land on the fear. Well, not quite. If Triss plays it right and doesn't want to get feared, she can choose to explosive shot Nocturne and ult him away. But in that case, if I feel like if TSM's well positioned, they can actually just let Nocturne ult Triss and kill him. So you have the GP to zone, and you have the zombie Karthus to zone too. Because GP drops his ult, nobody wants to walk in that.
Yeah.
You have a zombie Karthus, nobody wants to kill that. And so, I feel like if this game is gonna end well for Mono, it's gonna be a really well positioned ultimate by Cassio, and with a good follow up by Graves and Rumble.
And right now, Wild Turtle is actually being engaged upon up top lane. Odd One making his presence known. He's trying to get a parlay or two off on him as he's trying to run away. Odd One flashing in, trying to get a little bit more damage. I think Wild Turtle may actually be able to get away from this.
Yeah. Thing is I felt like they were going to kill Rumble at that point. They didn't cut him off well enough. What happened was Rainman got too low too early, so he couldn't keep Rumble there. And so when Odd One went to gank, the fight already broke out a little too early, so he couldn't get in position to permanently slow Rumble. And also, he had also lost red buff, so that's another slow factor that he had missed out on. Had he had red buff, there's no doubt in my mind Rumble would have died.
On Reginald dying real quick to Paradoxical. Minions not going to do it. Man.
That was a really close fight, actually.
Yeah. So, but we were also talking earlier during the break that like right now Reggie's objective now is to just farm.
Yeah, that's basically the objective. He's slightly behind though, so this is actually really bad for him. You know, giving up first blood means more than just giving up 400 gold to the enemy. You gotta keep in mind he's farming and you're not, so the gold difference is actually more than 400. You know, he gave Cassio 400 gold for the first blood. Cassio finishes the wave, that's another 150 gold. Reggie misses 150 gold. The difference is closer to like 700 gold, and that's what you see in
right there.
The gold count.
So, Karthus, right now, I mean, are we gonna see him also maybe have a presence in the lane early on? Maybe meandering down bottom to help out.
At this point, he's not going to leave lane. He's just going to AFK farm mid.
Okay.
His goal is to get as much AP as possible, so when he does ramble in, he's going to do damage. So I don't see him leaving mid ever this game. He's just going to... His goal is to farm and only group up for Dragon.
So mainly what they did game 1. Pretty much. Just stay mid, never leave. By the way, we're 18, let's go do stuff.
Actually, Reggie kind of roamed around the jungle and did a lot of... counter jungling, etc. You're not going to see this game because he's already behind, and basically the stronger he gets from farming, the more help he's offering to the other lane anyways. Leaving means he's not going to get as much farm.
I'm not sure if Odd One saw Nintendude wander into lane, but he is being feared by Nocturne. But whilst Wild Turtle's getting away, Nintendude's there to take the rest of the damage from TSM, has no choice but to flash away. And right now, Paradoxical he isn't. He is 6. Ult is up. Right now, an odd one is caught in that bush. Ult going down to Rayman just to get the slow that they needed.
Oh, this is really bad.
Yeah. Mono with the counter gank. Right, and now Mono's also still pushing down mid. And it surprises me too that TSM's actually pushed so far in on mid, because that's... I mean, Tristana really has some pushing power in lane. With the explosive shot and things like that.
So at this point, like, TSM is really, really behind. Like, to be behind, I think 2,000, almost 2,000 gold this early in the game, it's definitely gonna hurt. Because right now, Cassio is a freaking beast. She's 2-0. She's got more CS than Reggie, and it's gonna come to a point that, you know, every time her ult's up, she's gonna be able to kill Reggie. So Reggie's gonna passively farm and not die at this point, just because she has so much damage with those early kills. Because I think she picked up Sork boots, so her damage is close to true damage. I don't think Reggie has any MR, so you know, she's doing true damage to Reggie. She's got some Doran's Ring for survivability. There's gotta be no real face-off. The best Reggie can do at this point is just to hang back and just lay waste the creep that's just about to die and not push the lane. If you push the lane, you're gonna die.
And he does have blue buff, so that's going to help out a little bit. And like we were talking before, nothing is pretty low on health. I mean, if we get one engage from Chaos here, one rocket jump ignite.
That's what he's looking for right now.
Yeah.
He's looking for the rocket jump, ignite, and buster shot with the Karthus ult.
He's thinking about backing right now, trying to bait him out with X special. And there it is, Karthus ult. Will laser! Done.
Called it. You know, you drop below 800 hit point, you're still gonna die with that heal. You know.
Yep. And that's the name. And that's so Reginald gets that kill to his name, so it's gonna help him out a little bit in his farm. So and hopefully we will see. I mean, I want to see this suicide bomb tactic. I'm really interested to see how this is gonna carry out. And the Nintendo dude actually laying in wait on the edge of their own
They can
jungle.
actually kill Karthus at tower if Cassio lands the ult. That's why he's waiting in there.
Well, Turtle getting chunked out by Rain Man. So I think Rain Man's actually going to be taking control of this lane.
Raidman's actually, like, I feel like Yorick can beat Rumble in lane, so it's actually a really good pick top, regardless of whether he picked it before or after Rumble. I'm not sure of the picking order, just because of the reset.
Yorick was picked first, and then they picked Rumble Nocturne after that.
Rumble is better in terms of, like, damage in a team fight, but he's definitely gonna lose in lane to Yorick. Not to mention Yorick's gonna. I'm still waiting for that Yorick ulti and Karthus.
We're waiting. We're like we
it'll
want to see
be a
the
sight
bomb.
to see. So.
I think that's what we're all waiting for. Is we want to see this strat carry out. We want to see it be effective, and we want to see where the power is in this, and if it will actually do anything to Mono. Because if it does, it could be the strat that turns the tide in their favor and get them on that killing spree.
So actually, like, one thing right now is after that first kill, Graves did burn his heal. So for the next fight, it's not going to be up, right? If you factor that in with the scaling damage of Chow X, he's going to do more than 800 damage burst next time, because Karthus is going to ult for more damage. He's going to have more points into rocket jump, more points into explosive shot. And also GP is now also 6, so he actually has a killing potential upwards of 1,000 hit points. So I don't think. Let's see how much HP Graves has right now.
Graves, 1180 right now. And
1180.
His heal still has 2 minutes to go.
So basically, Chax is gonna have his ignite up in about maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds. So
30 seconds, called it.
And so like, the kill potential is gonna be there very, very soon again, and especially because his heal is gonna be down. So that's one thing that Chax can look for.
So we're waiting to see how the strat happens to unfold here. Gold is actually starting to equalize here.
Yeah, the gold's equalizing because Yorick is winning top lane. And also Triss is winning bottom lane. Despite Reggie losing mid lane because of those early kills on Cassio, they should still be able to catch up and farm and out farm. Because if you think about it, right, if 2 lane is winning in CS and 1 lane is losing in CS, the gold gap is actually gonna close.
Dude trying to eat some skills here in mid lane. Paradoxical's laying in wait. Ultimate is up on Cassiopeia. Wards going down by Dragon, so I think we're going to start seeing our first move into Dragon very shortly. Rainman is up.
It's blue up.
Farming.
I mean, can I check Reggie really quick?
Yes.
So basically, like, Mono knows blue is coming up, so
Yeah.
he's camping there. He's waiting for Reggie to walk across and get blue, and then he wants to ult Reggie and give him and deny him that blue. So Reggie kind of saw Paradoxical there, so he took it as a cue. So he drops a ward to make sure that he does not come over and kill Reggie when he does blue. I think Reggie didn't get blue because he had died around the time that it spawned, so there's a delay timer on it, and it should come up within the next minute.
And even in the meantime, like mid tower is actually being pushed pretty hardcore actually. We got 240 health on the thing left. So I mean, Paradoxal is actually doing a pretty effective job at pushing out the lane, while Mono's mid tower really has no damage done on it at all.
It's just that Cassio has such high kill potential on Karthus right now, especially with Nocturnal. So he's gonna be pushed to tower most of the game, and I wouldn't be surprised if it drops pretty soon.
Walturl has no option but to lay down the ult to get away from Rainman. That harass, showing what it can do.
So basically what Rainman is doing top is, since he has a lot of heal from his skills, he's able to freeze the lane in front of his tower and poke at the same time. So that way he can make sure the lane never pushes out on Rumble, and Rumble would have to go into danger zone to just farm. And so it's just one of those things that Yorick has, is just a lot of lane control. He can keep the lane where he needs it to be kept. Not any further, not any closer. Because if it's going to go any closer, you can just body tank it and then heal back up.
And we're also talking earlier during the loading screen too about like which characters.
I think they're grouping up for Dragon right now.
I think he may be. Wild Turtle is down mid.
Does Yorick? Yeah, Yorick's ult. I mean, teleport is up. What he needs to do is push his lane really quick and buy though, because the potential of can you check how much gold Yorick has?
Yes, I can. It's 650.
Oh, that's not much. He's bought pretty recently, so
He got,
it's
got
not.
a chalice.
Is not too big of a deal if he goes back or not. So as long as he has his teleport up, you know, he's recently bought. He's relatively strong. It shouldn't be a big problem.
We were talking also during Champ Select about like which teams are going to be having their their front man and going into team fights. And we already discussed Reginald. He's going to be there. He's going to be a suicide bomber. And Nintendude, as a jungler, Nocturne is, I think, fairly weak against this team because his spell shield. Tristano's just going to pop that thing early, but right now Reginald's just going to get gripped here. He's maybe feared under tower. The tower's low enough where he can just take out the tower while he's feared, but he's not going to pursue it. But
the thing with the follow-up on that was Cassio was too far that Reggie...
We're committing to bot. Janna has ult. Karthus ult going down, not going to be able to do it. But he was still ignited on 130 health.
What happened was the damage was split between Graves and Janna. I think Chaos got knocked back, so he was unable to focus the Janna or the Graves. He switched between the two at least once that fight, so the damage wasn't focused, so he couldn't do as much.
Nintendude tries to steal it with the Q, cannot do it. But yeah, one more auto attack from Chaos, and that would have done it. So the Janna ult from Pixel was very well timed in that regard.
I think they should have just gone for the Janna the fight. One, she doesn't have heal. They waited long enough that Graves' heal is up. With Graves getting more HP, I think he's at like 1300 now, right?
He's at 1450.
1450, so he's at 1450 now, and he's got heal up. So he's actually like total health with the heal and the Janna shield is closer to like 1700. So Janna not having heal and not having a death on her head, I felt like it was more worth it to just blow her up.
Right, that TSM's got a 3-2, soon to be 4-man push here in mid. Soon trying to equalize the damage on the mid towers, and Chaos is here doing what he needs to do. Meanwhile, Turtle pushing up top. Top lane's actually pretty weak for TSM as well. There's almost no damage on Mono's side.
The reason why top tower has damage for TSM is because York is keeping the lane pushed to his tower and farming under it. So what that allows is allows for the creeps to hit it sometimes and Rumble to come up and hit it a couple of times. He's not losing HP on the tower because he's losing lane. He's losing it because the way he's laning. And also, I think that gank early on by Casio left it vulnerable for a bit so they can chunk it a little bit too.
It is a fantastic ult. Got 2 members for that one. Wild Turtle still being slowed, taken by Randman. Yes, yeah, Yorick is pretty much unmovable right now top lane. There's not really a whole lot Rumble can do. And I mean, it reflects that, you know, a little bit in the creep score. I mean, Yorick is 10 creeps ahead and will now only get more now that Rumble's decided to back. And also, look, I mean, Rumble, I'm sorry, Yorick actually very smartly stacking magic resist against Rumble.
So Chow X is actually looking for a kill here.
Pixel getting low. Here comes the ult. Will get Janna. Chaos does rocket jump away, but gets melted by Paradoxal waiting in the bush, coming down from mid. Soraka falling down to Cass.
That was actually very, very untimely fight. Just because Paradoxical was so close and Nocturne was actually so close. Had they been a little bit further, I felt like Chex could have gotten the kill and just backed out, but you know, just don't know the position of the people on the map, and when you fight and they're nearby, it's just really bad.
And there are also no river wards by either team. There's some vision here from TSM, but it's not the best indicator. I mean, it's more of an offensive ward, if anything.
Like the way the game is, it's gonna turn around pretty easily because they are behind 3 kills. That's basically the difference. Tower and Dragon kind of neutralize. Definitely gives up a little bit of positioning on the map.
Reggie actually being caught out, taking a bit of damage.
They're gonna lose tower here. It's so low that it's worth it to just give it up.
Yeah. It's like that's just a turret you do not want to be stuck around defending, because they'll just go ahead, they'll tank it if they need to, get those 1 or 2 hits they need and just take it out. So 19 minutes in, Mono maybe up 3 kills, but the gold is only about a 1k swing. 2 towers also down in favor of Mono.
So at this point, basically what you see is TSM's both mid and bottom towers down. So what happens is once you take down tower, you start roaming, because you can't overcommit to a lane because it's gonna push you in too deep, and then they can potentially kill you. Oh man, they're potentially looking for Baron control at this point, because it's late enough in the game where, you know, both teams has enough damage to kill it, and Casio with blue buff can actually melt Baron really, really quickly. So if I was TSM, I'd need to have more Baron control at this point, and really, like, especially attentive when Cassiopeia has that blue buff, because, you know, blue buff Cassiopeia, she gets off a lot of damage with that blue buff, and with blue buff you get the extra CDR and, you know, just a lot more mana regen, and like damage would just go nuts.
So Mono getting the wards, getting the vision they need around Baron. They're preparing for it.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mono just starts shoving bot mid and then go top, give that tower. It's worth it at this point for them to take it and potentially look for a gank. They need to have big plays very, very soon to change it. I mean, they are ahead, but
Wild Turtle doesn't know that Bush is warded. Karthus getting in with the wall.
That's bad positioning, Karthus.
Yes, Wild Turtle has been caught out. Mono needs to regroup for the support. And Rainman, you know, despite Mono now just moving as a full 5 force, Rainman just, you know, remaining top, continuing the farming. And it's good call on his part. I mean, he is relatively close to Baron. He is only in top.
So basically what happened was Mono went to push bottom, and what that's going to have TSM make a decision. It's like, oh, who's going to go bottom, who's going to farm it? And if they go farm it bottom, are we going to be able to... I mean, if somebody goes bottom, Mono can potentially force it. So I feel like TSM can actually defend Baron, even though it's 4v5, but it's still not a good position they need to be in. I'd send Yorick bottom at this point and farm it and just defend near top, because it's better to have more bodies near top tower, mid tower, and have somebody with a teleport down bottom.
It was also, quite a while until that ward and that river bush was found out. I mean, they knew it was warded based on the activity from Karthus onto Rumble earlier. I'm surprised it took them that long to clear it. But right now, TSM actually backing off a little bit. Once they see their presence in the lane, they may go ahead and engage on this. Nothing staying in mid.
I would really like to see Rayman buy and go bottom right now. I think he's got a bit of gold in him. Oh no, just 590.
What did he buy? He bought the Spirit Visage for himself.
Yeah, he's going a lot of MR just because Rumble, Cassio, a lot of magic damage.
Yeah. He wants that. He wants that cooldown reduction. He wants that
So they actually are sending Rainman bottom to hold that, and it's overall a really good decision. He can just keep on pushing bottom, potentially take that tower, and he can teleport into Baron.
They see that he's bottom, so that is Mono's
They
cue.
don't see the other ward though. I don't.
Yep, that ward is still up. York can still teleport to this ward when they go and engage. Here comes Reginald. There's a ward up there. Rainman teleported to that one. Mono has been deflected away from Baron. No deaths quite yet. We are not out of the woods yet. TSM getting ready to re-engage.
Oh, that's a really good. That was a really good chunk on Cassio.
Raise morale going on.
No, it was a really bad time for them to fight.
Karthus ult looking for the initiation. They're very low.
They don't want to face check that. That would be the
Yep.
worst thing to do right now.
I think they're just going to like, you guys are really low on health. I'm just going to burn this soul.
What TSM wants to do is just have Soraka top off everybody before they even start fighting. If they rush this too bad, it can be really, really bad.
In the meantime, X Special has the oracles clearing off all the vision from Mono. Should Mono just back away from this, or should they stick around?
No, they need to stick around because TSM can do Baron just as fast as they can. So they're sticking around. The thing is, there's a ward there, so Mono knows that they're not doing it. And so it's actually dangerous. It's very dangerous for Soraka to get into that brush to know that there's a ward in there just because it's so close to Mono's side. That's why he hasn't checked that brush.
Rayman going back top, so will nothing. Mono trying, they put the CV down, ensure no one is down there. They're getting their wards back down, clearing out all the wards that TSM has placed. Yeah, there's a lot of wards. But Rainman already used his teleport in for that engage earlier because he was down bot lane trying to farm. So do you think Mono just sort of engaged, expecting him to burn the teleport so he just wouldn't have the later? Because this is a pretty big cooldown.
It is a pretty big cooldown. Ideally, they thought that TSM was far enough back that they can pick up Baron.
Now they kind of are, actually. Karthus is actually pretty behind.
He should be able to make it back in time because he's already off the map. Mono doesn't know. It is actually a good time for TSM to do Baron right now, but Odd One's actually back, so... Because what happened is, Janna has no wards, so they know that there's no vision on Baron then. So, if they just kind of stuck around, they could have just done it. But also, it's also spectator bias. We don't.
Yeah.
we see the entire map. We know they're going back. So.
Yeah, we are a little bit more privileged than the players here being able to see the entire map. Janna did buy 5 wards for herself. Continuing, so right now the coverage is kind of split around the Baron area between both teams. We have one in the pit, one in the river.
So basically, right now all ults are back up. So both teams are actually ready to fight again. What Chowx wants to do is he just wants levels right now. The more levels he gets, the safer he is when he fights. There's going to come to a point where he has 700 plus range. He's going to be long enough to outrange Cassio ult. He's going to be able to just stand way in the back and shoot through walls and just attack everybody that way. So his concern right now is just getting a lot of EXP, he gets a lot of levels. And
right. York seen top. Mono getting back in the pit, clearing out the ward, backing out. I think we've got to the point where we've devoted so much time now to Baron that both teams are just ready to go all out and sacrifice everything they need to try and secure this kill. So the next team fight could be the deciding factor. We have yet to see the zombie Karthus suicide bomb. And here we go. Mono is deciding to engage. CV goes down. TSM knows. Rainman taking the point. Mono knows they're backing off. Special clearing the ward in the bush, denying the vision. Stand still just in a moment right here, right in front of the Baron pit. Reginald getting off the skills, trying to deal as much damage as he can. This is tense.
I think Rumble wants to drop a really, really good ult right now.
And they're clumped up enough to do it. I would hate to see a preemptive ultimate from Nintendo, because that's the last thing they need right now. I really hope that they don't try to result on that as their main means of initiation.
The best way for Mono to fight this is to actually kill Reggie really, really quick and back out immediately, and then fight again. If they can do that successfully, they can win this fight.
So if they melt him quickly enough, Rainman may not have enough time to ult him.
No, even if he does.
Yeah, and even if he does.
Even if he does, they can just ignore Karthus after.
This is getting really tense right now. This game is pretty much
It's pretty much completely even at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, like, no team has a real advantage. And it's basically a skill matchup right now. Whoever team fights better is gonna win the game.
Yep. Mono, both teams right now gathering, warding Baron. They're both ready to just place all bets on Baron, and whoever gets this next team fight will more likely get Baron and push quite possibly for the game. Mono once again starting on Baron engaged. Rumble taking a little bit too much damage from the Baron. Reggie flashes in, gets blown out of the pit from the Janna. Ult is being focused down. Nocturne finishes the job. We did not see an ult from Rainman. It did not happen. Does have to ult Chaos just in case he dies. The ult may wear off before he even dies.
That is really bad timing. They should have gone a lot earlier. They're hoping for the Baron steal.
Yeah.
But what they should have done was they should have just fought that on top of Baron when they're doing it.
Yep.
You know, why risk it when you can fight 5v5 on top of Baron?
Poison does finish off the Brain Man. X Special being hit with the fangs, and now Mono's just going to go ahead and push up mid. I think this may be it. They're just going to go ahead, take this minion wave, take out this tower, take down the inhibitor. Reginald's going to come back, Odd One's back, but X Special and Rainman still have a good 20-30 seconds before they're back. We think we may even be able to get a Nexus tower. But as Reginald flashing in, Rainman was not close enough to get the ult off to make the suicide bomb work.
The thing is they just took way too long. They knew that they were doing it. They should have gone right away. What needs to happen is Soraka needed to drop a ward right away and have Rainman teleport in instantly. Had he teleported in instantly, he would be able to ult Karthus, and Karthus can just, you know, reposition and just do a lot more damage.
Mono now taking control of bot lane, using their advantage to go ahead and push. This tier 2 tower should go down pretty quick. But every single person is now gathering towards bot, and now Mono's going to go ahead and wander
Take
down to Dragon
too.
for free. TSM will not be able to get here in time to contest it.
It's amazing how like a 700 gold can just creep up to 6,000 so fast. Now it's going to be 7.
7,000 gold lead in just a minute or two, just from one team fight. All this game was centering around the one big team fight by Baron, and Mono came out ahead.
It's just really, really bad timing for Rainman to go up top and farm. They had no vision on Baron, and they weren't in position. They weren't close enough for Rainman to split off from the team and farm that. It's definitely not his fault, because he has teleport, so he can come in any time.
Yeah.
That was dependent on his team being in the right place and dropping the ward so he can get it in at the right time.
30 minutes in. One team fight at Baron later. Mono has a very commanding 7k lead with Baron buff, up 9-2. 6 towers, and all of theirs are remaining. Even this one, even that one, that hero tower, a little under 300 health left, still standing. So I'm trying to think what TSM can do.
The moment this Baron runs out, they can actually fight again. Mono definitely has a clear advantage in terms of gold farm, killing power at this point, especially with Baron. If they can stall long enough, just farm, and it doesn't even matter if this tower drops. It's gonna be another 1,000 gold, but it's better than, you know, giving up and hit and losing the game, because you know, once Chow X gets to level 18, that's when he starts to shine. Just because the thing with Tristana is she has scaling attack range, and that means that she can attack way out of range of any other champion. He can deal damage, and for a champion that can kill another champion in like 4 shots, 5 shots, within like 3 or 4 seconds, having that range is gonna matter so much.
Baron buff should be down any moment. Once it is, that will be TSM's signal for them to engage if they are pushed up far enough. Just wait for the next minion wave to come in and push.
What Reggie wants to do is, he's probably going to do is he's going to just wall when the creep wave comes off, clear it so they can't push it.
Yep. Rayman taking the point, Razor Morale going up. This might be it. This is it. This is the last stand. Reginald ulted by Cassiopeia. Did he get ulted? Yes, he did. So here's the suicide bomb. Karthus coming in. Karthus does to get the ult off. How many people's gonna get with it? Just one. Just Rumble. Pixel still barely alive. Nintendo still barely alive. Rayman now in chase. Chaos in chase. And the Fang.
Oh my god.
Rocket jump. Paradoxical with the wonderful kill.
That could have been so much better. Oh, if he jumped a little bit earlier, he would have lived that, and they actually would have been able to defend this tower right here.
The targeting went off and just connected mid-flight. It locked in, and now TSM, they're back to their front door.
That was actually not worth. Had Chow X gotten the kill and gotten out, it would have been definitely worth it. But since he died, there's no real range champion to clear creeps and defend these waves that's onslaughting. So it just had that play a little bit better. I think TSM would have came out ahead of that, and they would have been in perfect shape. But now they do have 3 inhib down, and of course mid's gonna come up within like maybe a minute and a half. But this is gonna hurt. It feels like the next fight is gonna decide the game. So they better fight it really well and take this chance to farm whatever they can.
And the next Baron should be an easy one for Mono. When it spawns, 2 inhibitors will still be down for TSM. So they should, I mean, unless TSM just decides to just abandon ship, abandon their base, and try and make a quick engage on it. I don't know. May not see it. I think they're just gonna go ahead and just be a little more content farming while they can. This is rough. This is rough for solo mid right now.
I felt like if they just lost 1 inhib, it would have been fine. But now it's 2 inhib down, and so with 1 inhib you can at least farm and defend. 2 inhib down is gonna be a lot of pressure, and
This is going to use this wave as they're signaling to push on to take down the mid inhibitor once again. Razor Morale going up. There's the wall. They have all the skills they need to. Gangplank ult coming down. Here's the Nocturne ult focusing down on Chaos. Right now, Reginald in the thick. He will be focused down here by nothing. Pixel trying to get the slow off. Reginald will fall down. Karthus is back. Karthus ult going down. Rainman now desperately trying to get back to his base, even though he is ridiculously slowed. Just barely getting out 180. Deck special. Chase being the leader. Paradoxical kind of going into that small little trap created. Chaos now being focused. Graves does go down with Tristana.
there's so much super creeps.
And all the while, the super minions push to the Nexus. GG. Mono has beaten Team Solo Mid. Congratulations. $300 is now yours and prevented the potential TSM killing spree. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Wow.
Upsets everywhere.
Upsets everywhere. Mono,
everywhere.
Mono is the upset team.
Upset everywhere.
Let's recap how many teams Mono have beaten here on the IGN Pro League stream. They've just beaten Team Solo Mid in Killing Spree. They've beaten Millennium in IPL 4 qualifiers. They've beaten Absolute Legends in IPL qualifiers.
M5.
M5 is their next match.
Oh my god. Oh, so sad for TSM. They had the right idea. It's just one team fight lost them the game. Yeah. And that one jump over made sure they lost that game. At that point, they were actually still winning that team fight down that inhib with the enemy having Baron buff, right? Had Chax not jumped over to kill a Janet and sacrificed for himself, all 3 inhib would have been up. They would have been able to defend that 100%, right? He goes back up. He just starts attacking creeps, heal off. You know, now they can't push. He's got really, really long range. He can clear waves, and as long as he doesn't get close enough for Cass to hit him, he can hit Cass without Cass being able to cast on him. So it was just, that cast did work that game. That cast did work.
The stats don't lie. 10, 0, and 1. That is one very impressive, one sexy snake lady. But you know, we saw the Karthus suicide bomb once,
And it worked.
and it worked.
It worked. He took out like 2 people. He took Cass actually to maybe 300 health. If Chaos had sight on Cassiopeia after he killed Janet, he could have killed Cassiopeia as well. But he just, you know,
Yep.
she was well positioned in the shadows, throwing out poison.
Yeah, I mean, it's Karthus did his work, but you know, we needed a cleanup crew. And
Had he done the suicide bomb Karthus properly the first time,
yeah, Baron.
it would have worked out at
Yeah.
Baron. The last one that he tried, they actually killed his clone before he died.
Yeah,
So he didn't get resurrected. So it was a little bit of mistiming. I think Rayman saw that Reggie got ulted by Cassiopeia. So he's like, all right, time to ult him. But they just completely stopped DPSing Reggie, so he didn't get the resurrection. Had he got the resurrection, he would have been able to attack for another 6-7 seconds. Karthus clone right click does nothing. So having a Karthus clone up doesn't do anything. In that case, it was better to just have it on Chao X. But it was good play by Mono not killing Reggie until they killed the clone.
yeah.
So
we're going to take a quick ad break. We're going to finish out with the rest of our match evaluation, and then we have some announcements also coming up for you guys if you haven't heard them before. So we're going to take a quick ad break, and then we'll be back in just a quick moment. So do please stay tuned.